Welcome to the mystical land that is joannaland. I am your host, Joanna Dreiling, and I am beyond excited to be on this journey of transformation over a lifetime with you. This is a space dedicated to your highest evolution and our collective igniting a deeper humanhood. Let's roll, baby. Hello, my love. I'm so excited to be back here today with you. Today, I am coming to you as a continuation of my last episode. If you haven't heard about where I've been at and what has been going on and the grief portal that I have been navigating over these last 4 months, I invite you to listen to that last episode. This episode is a continuation. It's also inspired by an email that I sent out to my email list. And I've been doing these like love letter, poetic prose. I don't know. It's very me in expression, in my opinion. And they're very beautiful and juicy, and I love sending them out. And if you're interested in getting them, there is a link in the show notes to get them, to start receiving them. Yes, so this is inspired by an email that I sent, and it's really just, it's all about, as I shared in the last episode, this has been such an intense grief portal. And I talked about feeling it to heal it and the importance of feeling it to heal it. And today I'm going to talk more about navigating grief beyond the feeling it to heal it beyond. And just like when you are in the depths of grief, or when you are navigating waves of grief, which at the time of this recording, it is bright and early on a Monday, April 29th at 7:17 in the morning. And we are in over 6 months of genocide happening in Gaza. And, there's grief. So that's happening at a macrocosm level. So we're all experiencing our own internal genocide as a result of witnessing this global genocide and this horrific humanitarian act, I guess. Yeah. I don't know how you would verbalize that. Any hooser, I'm sharing all of this because we could all use some ways to navigate our grief. And the thing that I really just want to drive home is the reminder that grief is a mysterious teacher. The best way that I've been using grief and how I would like to relate it is the ebbs and flows of a wave. It's continuously returning to shore. At the onset of the grief, the waves are rapturous and they will chew you up like a tidal wave. After some time passes, you might find that the waves begin to recede and become a little bit calmer, easier to navigate, just a little bit flowier and not so wavy and not so tidal wavy. Yet still, you may find that sometimes the rapturous waves return to the surface now again, and you might wonder and resist these waves when they arise. But my love, do not resist the waves, because the more that you resist the waves, the more that the waves are going to rapture you and twist you up and fold you over and potentially drown you in them. Do not resist. Learn how to surf and ride these waves. The value of feeling it to heal it and the value of navigating grief is to really learn the way of surfing your emotional waves. And I do mean in the realm of grief, but I'm telling you, I have experienced some deep grief over these last 4 months, but I have experienced some depth of gratitude and joy in my being that it has brought me to tears that I can guarantee you would not have been available for me without the grief that I brought myself through. Now, something that I really want to touch on is really that, especially in the realm of uncoupling and of heartbreak, in the realm of romance and grief in the realm of romance, one way that we choose to avoid feeling our feelings, which again, like, we need to feel the feelings and we must ride through them. Otherwise, they will sit in our body. One thing before I dive into the romantic side of the things is something that I was sitting with yesterday on my beautiful Sunday for doing nothing and just being with myself and like literally soaking up sun codes. Yesterday, I was just like in the sunshine, outside all day long. It was the best thing ever. But something that came to me is just like how, like, we need to metabolize our pain into purpose, into power, into something else. We have to metabolize our pain. And it's not to discount or forfeit or, minimize even what the pain brought into our life. But if we do not metabolize the pain, if we do not allow the pain to be metabolized and then therefore expel through our system and be rejected by the system, and be released through navigating the emotional waves, then all of your pain will not be metabolized, but instead it will sit there like food that gets stuck in your gut, not unlike food that you actually don't metabolize. There's a reason this is all like, I'm just saying, like, it all, the body teaches us the way that we can actually move through the shitty shit by watching how the body treats the shitty shit that we put into it to digest on a like physical eating level. Like, what we digest mentally and emotionally is also something we need to keep in mind to expel, and to make sure that we are digesting and expelling digesting, metabolizing and expelling it from our system, or otherwise it will build up, and then you're going to be clogged. And then you ain't going to be out here pooping, and you're going to be frustrated that you're so fucking constipated. Well, guess what? It's because you've constipated yourself, my sir, my dude, my people. It's like, because you have not allowed yourself to take yourself through the thing, to metabolize the thing. You are constipating yourself because you are not allowing emotional fucking expression as a healthy humanitarian act for your fucking self to come through. Feel it, man. Okay. I digress. So one thing about the romantic relationship is that, like, and I still 4 months later, like, have people in my very close personal life asking me, well, like, aren't you looking for somebody else? Like, why aren't you interested in meeting other people? And it's like, I'm out here interested in meeting friends here in Roanoke because I've been here for 6 months and I still basically know nobody, even though I'm in my hometown. And I need to meet people. So, like, yes, I'm like getting out there and dating, and like, I'm wanting to meet people. It's real. Yes. And like, I'm not out here interested in seeking at all a romantic relationship or a partnership in these dates at all. But because I don't want one right now, and because of a bunch of other reasons that I'm just like not emotionally available for a partner right now. I am emotionally available to myself and my business and my clients, and that's what I want to be emotionally available to. But here's the thing. Our society has an obsession about getting over somebody by getting under somebody else. And oh my God, is that a surefire way to fuck your shit up, everybody? Like, no, don't do it. Do not. I repeat, I'm like, and I'm not an often like, do not, do not do this. Do not get under somebody else to get over do not get over somebody else by trying to get under somebody else, because that will cause, especially if you are female, where your heart is connected to your fucking vagina, it's going to probably fuck your shit up. Okay. I'm just being really real here. So I recommend, instead of getting under somebody else, I recommend getting over yourself and your ego, getting really honest with yourself, as we touched on in the last episode, and getting under your grief. allowing your grief to ravish you like a lover. Let it rip you apart. Let it guide you like a shaman, and let it lead you right on in to a whole new you and a whole new life. Grief, in whatever form it takes, is an opportunity for us to let go of what is no longer serving us. It is an opportunity to allow what is not serving us to die for new life to be formed. It is like ripping all of the tulip, like all of the like old tulips and like flowers and like old rotting piece of grasses and la and like all the things, and like ripping them out and allowing then to see what is there underneath it all, and then place things back in. Like, my love, yes, I know it is grueling to take that amount of honesty with yourself. I know that it is heart-wrenching and it is going to rip you apart. My love, I understand. My love, I have been there. And when you really create the space for that to actually emerge, when you create the space for the emotional waves to ride through, when you create the space for the emotions to emerge, rise, and flow, you actually allow them to naturally evolve. The reason that I can come here and sit here and say all of these things to you at this moment is because I was about to commit suicide in January and February. I cannot believe I'm admitting that to the fucking internet, but this is the closest that I have ever been to suicide. But instead of acting on that, I know my value. I know my life is more valuable than that, and I know that no man is going to bring me there. But wow, I got close, and I thought about it. But what instead I did is I created as much space as my heart knew it needed, and I created more space than it really needed. I still have people 4 months later being like, I hate seeing you this upset all the time. This just isn't you, la la la. Yes, okay, it isn't me, but guess what I am allowing myself to do? Openly feel. And just allow what is naturally emerging to come through and to come alive within me. And I feel so much better and so much healthier as a result of it, because it's what is naturally emerging. Here is the thing about emotions and why we need to feel them, is because when they come up, when we feel something, we need to fully feel it. And our problem in our society is we're so obsessed with not feeling our emotions and with getting under somebody else instead of getting over them, that we instead just don't even allow ourselves to feel it. We snatch, we like, hello, let me get back down on earth here. We get so caught up in not feeling our emotions that we do not allow what is we stuff down what is naturally emerging out of us. We are just so obsessed with avoiding our emotions that instead of allowing what is naturally emerging, like a flower blooming from underneath the soil, we are then like squishing it back down. The flower is meant to bloom. The human is meant to feel. Like, it's like literally like we are squishing the blooming by doing that to ourselves, by squishing ourselves down and not allowing our humanity to be expressed. We need to allow the emergence of our spirit, because the more that we allow the emotions and the energy in motion, God, spirit, you want to connect with your intuition. You want to get to know spirit. You want to understand God. Feel your emotions. God speaks to you through them all. Allow what is naturally emerging to emerge in its entirety. As I said in the last episode, it is a 2-minute loop. Allow it to naturally emerge. And while I get off of my soapbox, let's talk about some resources that will help you with some grief. Journal on it. And when I say journal on it, I also recommend verbal journaling. Literally pull out your fucking voice memos and verbalize it out of your body. Get it moving from your heart through your throat and allow it at your throat, your point of choice, and allow it to mobilize out of your body and materialize in the physical world so that it's no longer sitting within your being. You need to unload it all. Stop allowing it to live in your mind and sit in your body. You don't even never ever need to read it again or listen to it again. Just let it out of your body so it doesn't cause you harm. And quite honestly, I recommend, if you do actually journal it, to burn it as safely as possible, because wow, oh my God, burning, and I'm a pyro, but like it is so cathartic. Okay. Next, leverage your body, move your body, expel. Once again, metabolize. How do you metabolize pain? By allowing it to expel in journaling or moving it through the body. Energy, emotions, energy in motion. So how do we then move that energy? Move it. Move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You feel me? So do a sacred rage practice. Have a shake session. Like get a shaker board. They're all the rage on TikTok right now. Practice breath work. Do a revenge workout. You know how many revenge workouts I've been doing? Like popping some squats at how upset, and like this man ignited some holy collie rage, man. Holy collie rage. So what am I doing? It's not even a revenge workout. I'm just like blasting through my workouts, collie energy on lock. But literally whatever you can do to move your grief through your body, the body keeps the score. So releasing the grief starts with the body. Use your resourcing activities. A resource is anything that brings you joy and harmony in your nervous system. So for me, that's why you're even hearing me sing more. That is a resourcing activity for me. In the wintertime, snowboarding, which is what I did with my family, and it was amazing. I love to spend time in nature. And like I said, sun codes yesterday, sitting in the sunshine, like that resourcing, like just sitting on the earth in the sunshine, soaking up, being in nature, listening to the nature, like being like one with nature and with the earth is just like, brings me so much joy. So what are your things like that? When I lived in Michigan, it was going to the lake when I really needed support emotionally. And like, I didn't want to go to a friend, and I really just needed space to like meditate and process and like sit with myself. I went to the fucking lake, man. Next, get your damn ass booty into therapy. And now I make a caveat here. I am a little skeptical about counselors at this point. And therapists in general. Just find yourself a good therapist. And I recommend a social worker, honestly, because they're thinking I think they have a more holistic view, and it's less the like, how does this make you feel? And more about like, okay, what are you doing in your life here? And like, are you supporting yourself on a holistic level? Are you eating? Let's make sure you're eating, like that type of thing. But genuinely, the point, and get a coach. Genuinely, I also recommend a coach, because that will actually have you, and a proper coach, as I say, just with therapy. Not all practitioners are created equally, therapy or coaching, but most coaches, if you have a good coach, is going to take into account your past, but they're always thinking about propelling you forward into your future. Okay. So, but the point of all of this is some unbiased supportive care, unbiased, objective, somebody who is paid to listen to you. Okay. And yes, I know what it sounds like. Pay them to listen to you, because that's just the world we live in. That like, in order to get genuine, I'm fully listening to you in a way that I'm fully honoring you. Yes, you got to fucking pay for it. And like, because friends and family simply, unless they are coaches or practitioners, they're not taught how to hold space. Hire somebody to hold space for you. Because when it comes to experiencing the loss of somebody in your life, your inner child needs a nurturing space to bring them back into safety. Whatever that looks like for you, please use your intuition to guide you to somebody here and connect in as much as you possibly can to connect into somebody, because some therapists will have you spinning in your cycles of victimhood forever. Another therapist will have you moving towards your best life much more quickly than you thought was possible. Okay? The last thing on navigating grief, and I think I might actually have, that might be it, is checking your rumination. There's a difference between processing your feelings and ruminating in them. One question that I want you to sit with and ask yourself when you're really, and really this is a question I ask myself repeatedly on a daily basis, is, and like, especially when I find myself sitting in my shit and like I find myself up in my head and I find myself like, really like my mindset is just shitty. And I can feel my body is like contracted and there's just some unease there. One question that I ask myself that has supported me a lot in this last 4 months is, am I more committed to my suffering or am I more committed to my healing? Because something in the healing process and in the grief process is that like in the grief, we sometimes suffer so much that we make ourselves the victim like more than we need to, and we perpetuate our cycles of suffering and our cycles of disempowerment more than we do. We naturally are going to perpetuate any of our cycles, whether or not they're self-deprecating or not. We're going to perpetuate the cycles that we have intended to perpetuate. So if we're more committed to, if we're actually in our mindset, not in intention, but in our actual being, and in our somatic experience, more committed to the victim, we are going to create and perpetuate more of that cycle. We're going to run in that circle and in that loop more because we're not checking our rumination, because we are allowing the suffering more than we need to. And at some point, you have to take the most honest look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? You need to start taking agency and ownership and take some responsibility for your life, who you are in this world, my love. Stop perpetuating these cycles of suffering. Grief is a mysterious teacher. It has so much to teach us. Death has so much to teach us. And in the process of letting go, let go. But I think sometimes in the grief process, it's not even a matter of letting go another person, but it's letting go of the part of us that wants to, that is available for this suffering, letting go of the part of us that is the victim, letting go of a part of us that wants to hold on to the suffering because it somehow brings us power. But honey, that is not your true power. That is not your true security. That is not the true esteem that I desire for you. That's not where it really comes from. No, my love. No. So I ask you, why are you sitting here watching the waves rapture you? Why are you allowing the waves to just come again and again and again? And you wonder why the waves are so bad. My love, you are resisting them. You're not allowing them to ride through. By resisting the waves, you perpetuate your suffering. Stop avoiding accountability to yourself, honey. And honor yourself. Honor your grief. Truly honor your grief. Well, honor, by definition, means to respect. Period. Honor. Honor. That's actually what it means. We're going to look up real fast. Honor. Honor your grief. Honor your grief. Okay, by definition, high respect, great esteem. Of course, that's the word that leads my life. Fucking A. Integrity, distinction, adherence to what is right or to a conventional standard of conduct. How do you want to honor yourself? How do you want to hold yourself in high respect? Your grief has more to teach you Because you know what your grief does? Your grief is a gateway to your joy. So the higher regard and higher respect and esteem you can genuinely hold your grief to, my love, the higher the levels of joy that you have available to you. And that's one of the most beautiful things that I've ever heard to me. I don't know about you. But yes, hold yourself in high respect. Hold your grief in high respect and allow it to be your teacher. And I bid you the most love for riding the waves. Thank you for being here. My God, thank you for being here. Yes, and with that, if this conversation ignited you once again, I invite you to take a look at my signature masterclass, the Energy Alchemy Masterclass. For my podcast listeners, there's 50% off for y'all because this is the work. That class is all about this work. And really, it's not so much about navigating the grief, but it is about riding the emotional waves and learning how to really ride and be in the energy in motion and move the energy in motion. So I hope you love that. And I hope this conversation ignited you. And once again, I thank you for being here. And I love you so, so much. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Yeah, today we got my girl. Okay, y'all ready? I gotta find peace of mind. He says it's impossible, but I know it's possible. He says it's impossible, but I know it's possible.